today's Family First. We've heard a lot about things like sedation dentistry. Does it work? I want to know. Is it safe? Also, many people suffer from sleep apnea. How can the dentist help with that? Joining me is Dr. Kaveh Gabousi. He's a dentist at Madison Smile Solutions.
Thank you,
Dr.
Kristen.
Gabousi, thank you for being here. Let's jump right in.
Okay.
Many Americans have sleep apnea. For those who don't know, what is it?
Well, sleep apnea is basically a disorder where you stop breathing during sleep. Then you resume breathing, choking or gasping. So it affects about 18 to 30 million Americans, which puts it on par with diabetes and prevalence in the U.S.
How can the dentist help?
So what we can help with is, one thing we can help with getting people on the road to diagnosis. So the reason so many people with sleep apnea go undiagnosed is because you have to diagnose it with a sleep study. Traditionally, that's been in a hospital. There's a 3 to 4 month wait for those sleep studies.
So how does the dentist help? Can you send us home with one of these breathing devices?
We can send you home with a breathing device, but first we have to help you diagnose it. We can send you home with a sleep test, so you don't have to wait the 3 or 4 months.
Really? What's the sleep test?
So it's a home sleep tester. It's a little computer that you wear on your abdomen when you sleep. There's a belt that goes around and it measures how often you stop breathing, how often your breathing gets depressed, your blood oxygenation, and all kinds of other things.
That's interesting that it would come from a dentist's office. You would think you would have to go to a hospital. Is this something new?
It's fairly new. It's become more common recently. Now, you still have to have the diagnosis done by a sleep doctor, a board-certified sleep doctor, but we can help with that too.
Oh, that's wonderful, just to start the process to find out if you're a candidate for it.
It certainly is wonderful.
Okay, I've heard a lot about sedation dentistry. I mean, I have terrible anxiety going to the dentist, always have. What is sedation dentistry, and is it safe?
Well, there's different types of sedation. So the first type that we do is called nitrous oxide sedation. And that is commonly known as laughing gas. You've probably heard of that before.
Yes.
And I compare that to having a couple of cocktails. Most people can relate to that. So it helps you relax, feel chatty and happy. The nice thing about nitrous oxide sedation is 5 minutes after we remove the mask, you're 100% back to normal. Now, for people that are more anxious, not just a little anxious, that are really anxious.
Terrified, okay.
Then we could do something called conscious sedation, which is where we use an oral medication, so there's no IV jabbing you in the arm, to comfortably sedate you. We put you in an altered state where you're awake and we can talk, but you don't really care about what's going on. And that's really important for people to help them relax and get dental work done.
Now, is it safe? I mean, what ages do you recommend that for?
Well, so for conscious sedation, that's something we reserve for adult patients.
Okay.
For younger patients that need sedation, we refer them to the children's dentist or somewhere else.
And if you're an adult and you have the conscious sedation, do you need a ride home?
You need a ride to our office and a ride home because of the way we do the appointments. You want to make sure you can't work that day. And you want to also not talk on the phone. So you need another adult to stay with you for the day.
But that is a nice way to have dental work, especially if it's a big deal like a root canal or something. Let's talk about getting a crown. I have a crown, and there's new technology now, so I don't need that goopy, awful mold that you kind of gag on.
That's right. So we have a 3D scanner in our office. It's basically a camera that takes a 3D picture of your tooth. And then we also have a mill where we can mill the crown and place it on your tooth at the same appointment. We can do that most of the time. Now, in cases where we can't mill it in our office and we need to send it out to a lab, the nice thing about a 3D scan is it's so accurate, so much more accurate than an impression, because an impression can distort. An impression has to be sent to a lab, poured in a model. Wow. With a 3D scan, it's an exact duplicate of the tooth, and it can be uploaded to the lab's computer automatically. And then the turnaround time, instead, you remember, was probably 2 weeks.
Yes.
Now it can be as fast as 2 or 3 days.
That is incredible. Where are you located for people who are interested in?
Right on Odana Road near Whitney Way.
Wow.
5602 Odana.
Dr. Gabousi, thank you so much. We appreciate you covering a wide range of topics, but things that, we're hearing more and more about in the news.
Well, I appreciate you having me on. Thank you.